Hey guys, Hussein and welcome to YouTube channel. So this video is the part of my Merge Stack course, and in this video we are going to be learning about MongoDB, Mongoose, and also the MongoDB Compass. Okay, so we are going to be learning all of that stuff, but before we do, first of all we have to ask ourselves is that what in the world is MongoDB and why you should care about learning MongoDB. So what in the world is a MongoDB? A MongoDB is a popular open source document oriented database, and it is one of the most popular NoSQL system and database, and it uses document storage format called BSON, which stands from binary style JSON document, and it will enable you to handle large amount of unstructured data in a real-time apps, and it can be used in web application and also in mobile application. Okay, so this is just a basic introduction of MongoDB, and now let me just show you a basic code of MongoDB. Okay, so this is the example of basic code of MongoDB. So once we write a few commands, or yeah, if you just write a few commands, so it will just create this code for us. Like here you can see we have this name, and name is set to Hussein and age is set to 18. Then we have another person with the name of Alex and the age of 24. Okay, so what in the world is all of that code? So here you can see all of that stuff is a separate document. So this one will be a separate document, and this one will be also a separate document. So we have this document for Hussein, then we have this document for Alex. So each of these are called fields inside this document, and I want you to understand and remember these names because I'm going to be saying these names again and again throughout this course. So this is going to be the document. So anything which we have inside these curly braces, and these are just our documents, and these are called a specific fields inside their documents. So we have field for ID, for name, age, and we will have a lot of like countless fields. Later we are going to be also checking there. So these are called fields, and all of these documents, once we combine them, it will give us collection right here. Okay, so if you have like, I don't know, 3 or maybe 3,000 documents, so all of their documents will be stored inside a specific collection, and we are going to be also providing a name to that collection. So let me just say that one more time. First of all, we have a document, then we have a field inside their document, and all of their document combined will give us this collection right here. Okay, so then all of that collection combined will give us database. So let me just say that finally one more time. So first of all, we are gonna have our document, and our document will look like this, and inside this document we will have a specific fields, and all of that document combined will give us a collection, and all of that collection combined will give us a database right here. Okay, so we can create a different kind of collection for a specific things, and we can also create different kind of databases for a specific things. Okay, so I want you to remember all of these names, like what in the world is a collection, the fields, the databases, and all of that stuff like document. Okay, so now let me just give you a key point of what I just said. So a document is a set of key value pairs that represent a single record within a collection, and a field is a specific piece of data within a document that holds a value. A collection is a group of related documents that share a common structure and are stored in the same database, and a database is just a container for a collection of JSON-like document, which is called BSON. But we are going to be writing JSON, by the way. You are not going to be writing BSON code. Okay, so that was just the key points of what I just said. Let me just say that finally, and I promise that's going to be it. I'm not going to say that one more time. So we have first of all a document, and our document will look like this, and inside these documents we have a specific fields, and all of our documents combined will give us a collection, and all of our collection combined will give us our databases right here. And you can take a screenshot of that, or you can like do whatever you want to do. You can write it manually in some sort of like textbook or anything like that. Anyway, so that was just a quick introduction of what a MongoDB is, and documents and all of that stuff. So the first thing which you have to do is that we have to install MongoDB in our machine, then we would be able to follow along with this course. So I want you to come to this link, which is mongodb.com/try/download and then community, and you don't have to type this link manually. I'm going to also give you this link in the description below. So just click on that and it will bring you to this site right here. We can work with the enterprise advanced section. We are not going to be working with that. And here you can see we have this MongoDB community edition right here. And in this area, we are just interested in this MongoDB community, not in the Kubernetes version right here. Okay. So once you click on that, here you can see it will now use this MongoDB community server. And here you can see the benefits of that. And once we click on this select package, and it will now use us where is that? I'm gonna click on this select package one more time. I don't know what happened. And here you can see it will now use us the version. In this course, we are going to be using this version of MongoDB, and you can download MongoDB for whichever kind of platform you are in. So you can download it for, I don't know, Ubuntu or Linux or something like that, and for Mac OS, and also for different kind of Linux versions right here. And finally, in this case, I happen to be using Windows 11, so I'm gonna just click on this Windows button right here, and I'm going to just click on this button. I'm not. Why? Because I've already downloaded that, and now once you click on this button and that download is complete, and then I'm going to show you how you're going to be installing MongoDB in your machine. So here you can see I've already downloaded this MongoDB in my machine right here, and you are going to also need to download MongoDB shell, and I'm going to also tell you like why you are going to be downloading this MongoDB shell as well. And if you want to download this MongoDB shell, so the next thing which you have to do is that you have to click on this tools right here. Let me just click on this tools, and here what you can do is that you have to just select this MongoDB shell right here. So we are going to be testing a few of our commands, like the first portion of this course will be on a MongoDB shell, and then slowly we are going to be jumping into Mongoose. Okay, so then here you can see it will now use us this version of MongoDB shell. You can click on that. You can just download this zip right here. By the time of this recording, they don't have any what do you call it, MSI. Then you can just click on this button and it will also download this MongoDB shell right here. So I have downloaded both of these two right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to just double click on this first one, which is a MongoDB, and it will just prepare to install. And this is how it will look like. I'm going to just click on next. Yep, I accept this license agreement. I'm going to click next, and then click on this complete version right here. And in this case, we are going to be installing our MongoDB in this path right here. You can change the path if you want to, but my recommendation will be to do not change that, because later you're going to face a lot of hurdles or something like that. I'm going to just click on this next button right here, and here you can also see that it is also installing something called a MongoDB Compass, which is a GUI tool for working with MongoDB, like a graphical user interface, which I'm going to also show you in this video. So you can either uncheck that, but in my case I want to install it, so I'm going to just click on this button and I'm going to just click on next and finally install. So it will just take a few seconds to install MongoDB in my machine. It will take a bit longer because in this case they're going to be also installing the MongoDB Compass, and that requires a huge amount of internet speed. And here I'm going to just select that to yes, and it will now install this MongoDB in my machine in a few seconds right here. And there we go. Here you can see it will also give us this MongoDB Compass right here, and it will also provide this URI right here. You don't have to worry about that. And here you can see we have this pop-up box which will say finish. I'm going to click on this finish right here. And the next thing which you have to do is that we have to extract this folder right here. I'm going to extract it right now. Oh, you know what? I'm going to just extract it to my desktop. I'm going to just click on him, extract file, and here I'm going to just choose my desktop. In this case, I'm going to just click on OK. So it will now extract all of this content to my desktop right here. Okay, so here you can see we have this MongoDB Compass, and then here you can also see that extracted data. I'm going to double click on that. And now in this case, what I'm going to do is that, I'm going to just take care of that in a second. I'm going to just leave that for now. So next thing which you have to do is that we have to set up our environment variable so that we can run our MongoDB shell command. So for now, if I just open my terminal right here, I'm going to open my terminal and let me just type Mongo and hit enter, and it will not work. And if I just write Mongo and sh, it will also not work. So now let's just take care of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to just click on this C drive, and here I'm going to go into my program file in this case, and here you will find this MongoDB right here. So I'm going to just double click on this MongoDB, then I'm going to just go into the server, then 6.0, and then bin folder right here. I'm going to click on this path. I'm going to just copy this path from here. Then here I am going to just type environment variable right here. So if I just write env, and here you can see it will now use us this environment variable right here. Okay, I am going to just click on this button right here, It will now give us this pop-up box right here. I'm going to just click on this environment variable right here in this case. Then I'm going to choose this path in this case, and I'm going to just click on this edit button right here. Okay, so in this case we are going to be clicking on this new button, but before we do that, I'm going to just copy this path one more time, and then I'm going to just create a new, and here I'm going to just pass this path right here. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK, and now OK one more time. And the next thing which I'm going to do is that here you can see we have this extracted data right here. I'm going to cut this folder from here, and then I'm going to go back one more time, and I'm going to click on this MongoDB one more time, and here I'm going to place this data. I'm going to just click on this continue, and it will now place this folder right here. So I'm going to go into this folder, then I'm going to go into this bin folder. Inside that folder, I'm going to copy this path as well, and I'm going to click on this environment variable right here one more time. Then I'm going to choose this path, click on edit one more time. So I'm going to place this path as well, and now I'm going to click on OK, and OK one more time. So the next thing which I'm going to do, so I'm going to double click on this Mongo SH right here, and it is now requiring this MongoDB localhost. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just copy this 27017, and I'm going to just place it right here, hit enter, and here you can see it will now open that for me right here. So if I just write show DBs, and here you can see it will now give us my DBs right here, like my database. I'm going to exit that, and now in this case I'm going to just write Mongo SH, and now here it is giving us that Mongo SH is not defined, but once we restart our machine, so then it will be defined. Okay, so in this case this is not defined, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to go into CMD, and I'm going to just write my what do we call it, I'm going to zoom in a bit, and I'm going to write this Mongo SH right here in this case, and here you can see it is now totally working in CMD, but it is not working on the terminal, but it will start working on a terminal in a second once I restart my machine. But anyways, that's another story. I'm going to restart my machine in a second, but first of all I want you to just write show DBs. I'm going to hit enter, and here you can see it is now giving us these databases which I currently have. I'm going to hit exit one more time, and that was the setup of MongoDB. I'm going to just exit one more time from here as well. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that if you want to connect to this MongoDB Compass, here you can see you can also provide this MongoDB localhost right here manually, or it will just provide that by default. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you guys can see everything a bit better, just like that. I'm going to just click on this connect button, and it will just connect your MongoDB right here, and here you can also see these databases right here. Anyways, so that was it about the setup of MongoDB, and next I'm going to restart my computer, and I'm going to come back to you in a second. So now I restart my computer, and now I'm going to just double click on MongoDB Compass, and I'm going to also open my terminal right here. So I'm going to just open my terminal. Okay, and now here what I'm going to do is that finger cross finger cross, I'm going to write Mongo SH to open my MongoDB shell. And what are we seeing here? You can see it will now connect us to MongoDB shell. So a MongoDB shell is a place where we are going to be running our MongoDB commands. So we're not going to be spending a lot of our time in MongoDB shell, but we will see that just for a little bit, and then we're going to be jumping into Mongoose. Anyways, so now first of all what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write show DBs, and I'm going to hit enter, and here you can see it will now gives us my databases right here, right in here. So I'm going to just write it one more time. I'm going to write show DBs and hit enter, and here you can see it will now gives us my databases right in here. Okay, so that was a command how we are going to be checking all of our current databases. So we are going to be creating a lot of databases, so if you want to check them all, so for that we have a command of show DBs, and it will allows us to show or to check all of our databases. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to write db.getName, and this getName method will allows us to show our current active database. So in this case we can also see that right here, like test right here, the current active database which we are working on is test. But if you want to check it out, so we can also use this command right here. So I'm going to hit enter, and it will now give us this test right here. So this current database in which we are currently working on, we can either see it right here, or we can use this command to check it out. Okay, so this is what a db.getName method will do for us. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that in this area we can also write our JavaScript code. So let me just write some sort of a JavaScript code, like I don't know, I'm going to just write like const name, and it will be now equals to Hussein. In this case, I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to just write name and hit enter, and here you can see it will now uses this Hussein right here. So we can also write, or what do we call it, we can also write our JSON format. So I'm going to just write const data or something like that, and it will be now equals to some sort of a data. So in this case, if I want to store like I don't know, maybe some sort of a little bit of JSON data, like name will be equals to Hussein, and also I'm going to provide a comma, and age will be also set to 20. In this case, I'm going to hit enter right here. And now if you want to just check it out, so we can also write or data right here. I'm going to hit enter, and here you can see we are now getting this result right here. So we can also write our JavaScript. So that's a cool thing. So next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to insert a little bit of data into my database, but we are not going to be going into that much detail because we have a separate section on there, like how we are going to be inserting our data. I mean, like the CRUD operation, like create, read, update, and delete, which I'm going to also show you in this video. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write like db, and in this case, if you want to create a collection inside this database, let me just say that one more time. This is our current database. If you want to create a collection inside this database, so for that we can use this command. I'm going to just zoom in a bit so you guys can see everything a bit better. We can write db and then the collection name, like whichever name you want to provide to your collection, and then insert one. Okay, so then you'll be able to provide your data, or to be precise, like collection right here. So if you already have some sort of a collection with that name, so it will insert that data which you are going to be providing right here to that collection. But if you don't have that collection available already, so it will create that collection for you. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove that, and I'm going to just write movie right here, or movies to be precise. And in this case, I want to insert one movie right here, so I'm going to just write movie, not movie one, but insert one right here. So now currently we don't have any collection inside this test right here. So this db.movies.insert one command will first of all create our collection inside this database, and it will now insert this movie inside that database. So if I want to insert, like, I don't know, the movie name will be, I'm going to go back, the movie name will be like, I don't know, extraction 2 or something like that, and yep, that would be fine. But you know, I'm gonna also provide some sort of a ratings to it. So I'm gonna just provide a comma and ratings, and it will be now equals to like 4 stars, or 4 rating would be fine. I don't know. So this is just an arbitrary data. So let me just say that one more time. This is our database. If you want to create a collection inside this database, so for that we are going to be using first of all the db, then dot, then the collection name. If that collection is already available, so it will just insert this data right here inside that database. I mean, like inside that collection. But if that collection is not already available, it will first of all create that collection for us, and then it will insert this data right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to hit enter right here, and here you can see it will now give us acknowledge to true, and it will also give us this random ID right here. It will give us this random ID because each of our collection and each of our data will be totally different. Or to be precise, each of our document will be unique. So that's why it is providing this random ID right here. You can also set that if you want to, but we are not going to. So now if you want to check all of your collections, so for that we are going to be writing show and collections right here, and I'm going to hit enter, and here you can see it will now just gives us this movies collection inside this test right here. So the next thing which I am going to do is that I already opened my compass right here. I'm going to zoom in a bit right here. I'm going to click on this connect right here, and it will now connected. And here what we are seeing is that we have this new database called test right here. I'm going to just click on that. And what are we seeing? We are now seeing this movies right here. If we click on this button right here, and here you can see it will now give us that movie which we just provide. So here you can see we have this first of all this random ID which this MongoDB is giving us by default. Then here you can see we provide this extraction 2 name right here, and we also provide this ratings right here, and ratings will be equals to 4. So this is how we are going to be inserting our data, and this is how we are going to be creating a collection. This is how we are going to be doing all of that stuff which I just show you. So that's how we can create a collection. So now let's talk about how we are going to be inserting our data into our database. So we already saw this insert one method right here, and we also have something called insert many method. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write db dot movies in this case, and I'm going to just write insert one, and in this case I'm going to just write dot and help, and I'm going to just hit enter right here in this case, and it will now give us information about this specific method right here. So db.collection.insert1, and here it is requiring some sort of a document and options. So here it is saying like insert a document into a collection, and you can learn more about that by clicking on this link. So it will allow us to insert one document into our database right here. But what if I write db dot not collection but movies dot insert many, and I'm going to just write dot and help, and I'm going to execute that, hit enter, and here you can see insert multiple documents into a collection. Okay, if you want to learn more about that, you can just click on this button and it will bring you to that documentation of that page. So we already saw like we can write our JavaScript right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just create some sort of like, I don't know, const m1, or I'm going to just create this m1 right here, and it will be now equals to some sort of like data, and I'm going to just give a name of like, I don't know, that was extraction 2, so this one will be like John Wick 4 or something like that, and I don't know, ratings will be just 5 in this case. So I'm gonna hit enter. So that was our first movie, and now I am going to just change that to movie 2, and the name will be in this case like Transformers or something like that. Transformers. Sorry if I just spell it correctly. TRANSFOR MERS, Transformers. I'm not sure about that. And in this case I'm going to just specify 3 ratings right here. I'm going to hit enter right now, and this is our movie 2, and now I'm going to just I'm going to just close that, and this one will be our movie 3 right here. Okay, so now in this case what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just change that to like I don't know, the equalizer 3 or something like that, and I'm going to provide 2 in this case. I'm going to hit enter, and by the way, this movie is one of my favorite movies. Okay, so yeah, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write db.movie, and now if you want movies to be precise, and now if you want to insert many documents, so in this case I'm going to just write insert many, and now I'm going to just write this array right here, and I'm going to write m1, m2, and comma m3. So we already created these movies like movie 1, movie 2, movie 3. So I'm going to just hit enter right here, and here you can see it will now give us like acknowledge true, and these movies are added. So now if you want to see that, I'm going to hold control and hit R, and here you can see we have this John Wick chapter 4, we have Transformers, we have an equalizer right here. So this is how we are going to be inserting many documents into our database right here, or many data to be precise. So that's how insert one and insert many works. So insert one will allows us to provide one document, and insert many will allows us to provide like more than one. So you can provide countless of them, or you can just provide 1, 2, or how many you want. So that was it about how we can create a data or insert a data. So now let's learn about how we are going to be reading our data. So if you want to read a data, first of all we are going to be writing db, then we are going to be writing a dot, and then the db name or the collection name. In this case we have a collection of movies, and then I'm going to just write dot find in this case. And now if I hit enter, and here you can see it will now give us all of the movies which we provide to our database. So we have this extraction to John Wick chapter 4, Transformers, and equalizer right here. So it will now give us all of the movies which we currently have inside our collection right here. So that was our first command on finding a data from our database. So the next thing which we have to do is that we have to also learn about how we are going to be getting a specific thing. So I'm going to just write db.movies.find, and in this case let's suppose if we are just interested in a single movie, so we are going to be first of all retrieving that data by using the data name. So I'm going to just write a name in this case, and here the name was extraction 2. Okay, so now if you want to just get this single movie from our database, so I'm going to just provide first of all db.movies.find, and inside that we are going to be specifying our JSON right here, and the specific property or field to be precise, and the value of that field. So I'm going to just hit enter right here, and it will now give us this extraction. It will give us the specific ID of that, and it will also show us the ratings right here. So what I'm going to do is that we can also search for a specific rating. So I'm going to just remove that, and by the way, if some property is not available in that current document, so it will not work. Like let's suppose if I just search for like genre or something like genre will be like I don't know, adventure or something. So if I hit enter, so here you can see it will not gives us nothing. Why? Because this genre property is not available inside our movies. Like none of these collection right here, like none of these collection have this genre, so it will not gives us anything. Okay, so that's that. So now let's learn about how we are going to be getting a data or a specific movie by the ratings. So we can also get that by just providing a ratings right here, and ratings will be like 5. So let's suppose if you want to get a movies which have a ratings of 5, so I'm going to just hit enter, and here you can see it will now gives us this John Wick chapter 4 of ratings 5 right here. Okay, so we can also provide multiple data if you wanted to. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to specify the specific name. First of all, let me just see all of the data, so then I would be able to work with that. I'm gonna hit enter. So let's suppose in this case we want to get like I don't know, maybe if we want to get this transformers. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write db.movies find, and in this case what I'm going to do is that, so I'm going to just pass two values. So the first value I am going to pass is the name, the specific name. If you get a typo in this name, so it will not gives us nothing. And we are going to be also checking for the ratings of this movie. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just specify the name first of all, and name will be TRANSFORMERS, and then I'm going to just provide a comma of ratings of 3. Okay, so let me just close there, and I'm going to just hit enter right here, and here you can see it will now gives us this transformers right here. So this is how we are going to be reading our data, and that's that. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that, let's suppose in some situation we are going to be just interested in this name. We would have a lot of fields inside that current document or inside this current data right here. But let's suppose in some situation we are going to be just interested in this name or maybe in this rating. So how can I get all of that data? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write db.movies.find in this case, and I'm going to just specify the name right here. Okay, so I'm going to just specify the name of like extraction 2. Okay, so I'm going to just close there, and now in this case I want to provide a comma, and in this case we are just interested in the name, so I'm going to just write name. In this case I'm going to close that, and here I'm going to just write 1. Okay, so it will now just gives us that name, it will not gives us the rating. So I'm going to hit enter, and we have a typo right here. I'm going to specify, what was wrong, so I just removed that because that was inside this current name right here, inside this current query. So what in this case I'm going to do is that I'm going to provide a comma in this case, and I'm going to write my name, and then let me just write 1, and now I'm going to just clear that out. I'm going to hit enter, and here you can see it will just gives us that extraction 2, and it will not gives us ratings. And if we later we are going to be providing a genre, and I don't know, we are going to be specifying a lot of stuff, so it will now gives us just the name, nothing else. So now in some situation you would want to get all of the data but a specific field. So let's suppose if you want to get like all of the movies, or maybe all of the movies but their titles or their names to be precise. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write db.movies.find in this case, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just first of all write a name in this case, and name will be like John Wick 4, and I'm going to provide my comma in here, or you know what, not in here, I'm going to provide that comma right here outside from there. And now in this case we are going to be just writing the name, and I'm going to just set that to 0. I'm going to hit enter, and here you can see it will now give us this ID, it will give us the ratings, but it will not give us that name right here. Why? Because here we specify the 0, so it will give us all of the data but the name. And if you just write 1, so it will give us like nothing but the name. Okay, so this is how you're going to be retrieving your data. Give me all the documents with just their names. So I'm going to just write db.movies.find. I'm going to call that, and here I'm going to first of all specify this empty pair of brackets right here, and now I'm going to just write like let me just write name in this case, and I'm going to just write 1. I'm going to hit enter, but before I do I'm going to have to zoom back and hit enter, and here you can see it will now just gives us the names of all of these documents. It will not give us that ratings or anything we provide inside their documents. So it will now give us the name of extraction, John Wick, transformers, and the equalizer right here. So that was it about how we are going to be reading or documents or reading a data from our documents. So now let's learn about how we are going to be counting our documents, how we are going to be providing a limits, skips, and sorting. So what I'm going to do is that first of all, I'm going to just start from my counting. So I'm going to write db.movies in this case, and then I'm going to just write find, and here I'm going to chain count one more time. So I'm going to hit enter, and it will now give us all of the collection count right here. So in this case we just have 4 collections, so it will now give us the collection of count. So next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to rerun that command one more time right here, and I'm going to just provide some sort of a limit to that. So I'm going to just write a limit, and in this case it will give us like, first of all, let me just show you that if I hit enter, so here you can see it will now give us all of the documents right here. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, 4, 5 documents right here, or maybe 6 to be precise. So we have these 6 movies right here inside our database. I don't know if that was a 6 or 5 movies. So if you want to limit that, so you can also provide db.movies.find in this case, and I'm going to just specify this limit right here. So I'm going to just write a limit of 2. So we just want to get these 2 documents, and if I hit enter right here, so now here you can see it will now just gives us this first 2 right here, and it will skip the rest. So this is what a limit command will do for us. So we also have one more, so I'm going to just write db.movies.find in this case, and I'm going to just write first of all the empty pair of brackets right here, and then I'm going to just search for my specific name right here, or I'm going to just write name, and name will be now set to 1 in this case. And we can also provide sorting. So before, let me just show you that before the sorting how the things will looks like. So I'm going to just go back, I'm going to hit enter right here. So here you can see it will now give us E, then it will give us J, then it will give us T, then it will give us T one more time right here. So if you want to sort that alphabetically, so how can I go about doing that? So this is what we are going to be doing. First of all, we are going to be writing db.movies dot, let me just write dot, and then find in this case, and I'm going to first of all provide the empty pair of brackets, and then I'm going to just write name in this case, and let me just close that name. And in this case we are going to be writing 1, so we just want to get all of the names, and then we are going to be writing our sort. And now if you want to sort that by their name, so we are going to be writing this name right here, and we have to set that to 1, so it will just sort our documents by ascending order. So if I just go back, and now if I hit enter, we messed up something right in here. Okay, because we have to provide these curly braces, and I forgot that. I'm gonna hit enter right here. Let me just clear that and hit one more time, and here you can see now in this case it will give us E, J, T one more time. And now if you want to change this order, so we can just provide, instead of that 1, we can provide a 0, and if you hit enter, we cannot provide 0. Instead we have to provide -1. There we go. So now let me just go back, and if I hit enter right here, so first of all it will give us transformers, then the equalizer, John Wick, extraction, and yeah, so we have T, and J, E. So it will just gives us all of these documents in the descending order. Okay, so that's how we are going to be getting all of their documents by using the sort method, and we can sort that, we can provide the limits, we can check out the counts. But there is one more thing which we can do, and this is going to be the final thing for this specific section. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove that, or let me just remove this entire thing from here like so, and I'm going to provide my empty pair of brackets one more time, and I'm going to just use my name in this case, and I'm going to provide my 1 right here, and I'm going to also provide my sorting one more time just for the practice. Come on, like so. And now inside that I'm going to specify my curly braces right here. Inside these curly braces we are just interested in getting this name, and we are going to be setting that in 1. So now in this case, if we want to skip 1, so we can just provide a skip right here, and we can just provide 1. If you want to skip like 2 or 3 or something like that, so you can. But in this case, let's suppose if you want to just skip 1, and if I hit enter right here, so here you can see it will now just gives us these 3 movies right here. It will just skip the other one. So that's how you can skip that. Let's suppose if you want to skip like 2 maybe, and if you hit enter right here, so it will now gives us the equalizer and this transformers right here, and it will just remove the other stuff like John Wick and extraction and all of that stuff. So this is how you can skip a data once you're retrieving it from the database. We can also specify the operators like greater than or less than. So let me just show you that real quick. So that's going to be easy. So I'm going to write db.movies.find in this case, and I'm going to just find like a movie, or I'm going to just provide ratings in this case. And in this case, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just provide one pair of these curly braces right in here as well. So I'm going to just write $sign and then LT, less than. LT stand from less than. So we want to get the movies which rating is less than 5. So let's suppose if you just want to get a movies whose rating is less than 5, and now if I hit enter, so here you can see we are now getting this, the equalizer 3, the transformers and extraction, but it will just skip that John Wick, so which we have right here. So this John Wick have this 5 rating right here, so it will just skip that and it will now give us all of that other ones. Why? Because in this case we provide the less than right here. So if our rating is less than 5, so it gives us all of the movies. So you can also provide greater than 5 if you want to. So instead of a L, you can provide GT, and GT stand from a greater than, so greater than 2 maybe, so or greater than 3 maybe, and I'm gonna hit enter and it will now just gives us extraction 2 and John Wick 4 right here. So this extraction 2 have this rating of 4 and John Wick have the rating of 5. So this one have 3 and this one have 2, so it will not give us that. Okay, so this is how we can provide a greater than and less than operator. Alright, so that was it about operators in MongoDB. So next thing which I'm going to do is that how we are going to be updating our data. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write movies and then update 1 and then help. Okay, so if you hit enter right here, so it will now give us like db.collection.help, like update 1. So it will first of all require some sort of a filter, like what thing you want to update, and then update. So this update means like how you want to update it, like which kind of thing you want to update. So let's suppose, let me just show you that. Like let's suppose if you want to update this movie right here, first of all we have to specify the movie name or the movie rating. So like we can get this movie right in here inside this filter. Then what you want to change in that data, so like you want to change this ID, or you want to change this name, or you want to change this rating right here. So what do you want to change? So this is how the update 1 works. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write db.movies.find in this case, and I'm going to first of all provide like the thing which I want to update. So I'm going to just provide like I don't know, the name in this case will be now set to, I'm going to just copy that from here, and I'm going to just right click on it. And in Windows, if you copy something and if you right click, it will just place it in your terminal. I'm going to provide a comma in here. And now the next thing which you have to do is that we are going to be updating a specific thing inside their data. So we can provide first of all a pair of brackets right here, and inside these brackets we have to first of all specify the $sign and set. Okay, then we have to provide this colon, and then we have to provide a new pair of brackets right here. Then you have to specify which kind of thing you want to change. So in this case we are just interested in changing these ratings to like, I don't know, if you want to change that to like 5 or something like that. So I'm going to just write ratings right here, ratings, like so, and I'm going to just set that to 5. And now if I hit enter right here, oh, that's because we are using find right here. So we have to change that to update 1. Come on, Hussein, what are you doing? We have to write update 1. Okay, so let me just go back, and now if you hit enter, and here you can see it will now gives us acknowledge to true and everything is matched. So now here you can see currently our rating is now set to 3, but if I hold control and hit R, and here you can see it is now changed to 5 right here. We can also change the name if you want to. So how can I go about doing that? I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to just change the name to like I don't know, another movie. Like I'm going to first of all get my name, and I'm going to just change that to like Hussein Web Dev right here, my name. Okay, so now if I hit enter right here, so this is going to be a great movie which will be coming a few days later. So I'm going to hold control and hit R, and here you can see the movie name is now changed to Hussein Web Dev right here, and the rating is 5, obviously, because I'm a cool person. Anyway, so that was update 1. So we can also provide update many if you wanted to. So that will work on a lot of data. So like let's suppose I'm going to have to create, oh, you know what, currently we have these 2 documents right here. So we have this John Wick with the rating of 5, and then we have this what do we call it, and then we have this Hussein Web Dev with a rating of 5 as well. So let's suppose if you want to change these ratings to like, I don't know, maybe 0 or 1 or something like that. So in this case we are going to be changing more than one data. So for that we are going to be using update many. So I'm going to just write, instead of update one in this case, I'm going to just write update many right here in this case. And instead of getting a specific transformers, I'm going to just get my ratings in this case and 5. So what we are providing is, first of all, let me just write this query, and then you would be able to know what I'm talking about. I'm going to write my rating's, and it will be now set to like 2 in this case. So what we are doing is that, first of all, we are getting our database or collection to be precise, and we are performing update many. So it will just search for all of the documents whose field is set to ratings, and rating is set to 5. It will get all of their document. It doesn't matter like if you have 2 or if you have 2,000 or 2 million or anything like that. Then what we are doing is that we are performing a set operation, which means like we are updating that thing, and here we are just setting that ratings to 2. So what we are currently be getting is that it will just change this 5 and this 5 to 2. I'm gonna hit enter right here, acknowledge is true. I'm going to hold control and hit R, and here you can see John Wick will have the ratings of 2, and Hussein will, sadly to say, the rating of 2 right here. So this is how we are going to be updating our data. So that was update 1 and update many. So the final thing which you have to talk about in our CRUD operation, and CRUD simply stands from create, read, update, and in this case we are going to be deleting. So what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be just writing db.movies.delete1 in this case. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write help, and let me just call that. So removes a single document from a collection. So first of all, we have to select that specific document, and then we have to just delete them. Okay, so we just have to first of all write not collection but movies.delete1 in this case, and we want to just provide our filters. Like, let's suppose if you want to just remove this Hussein Web Dev, so we are going to be just setting the name. First of all, let me just get the name, and I'm going to just change that Hussein Web Dev, which is my own name, and it will just delete it right here. So I'm going to just hit enter, and it will now give us like acknowledge true and deleted count to 1. And now if I hold control and hit R, it will just remove that that Hussein Web Dev from this document right here. So currently we have just these 3 documents right here. So that was just it about delete 1. So now let's learn about delete many. So I'm going to just how can we provide a delete many, because we just have one data right here. Let me just insert one more data. So db.movies.insert one more movie, and I'm going to just provide like the movie name will be like the movie, and the ratings in this case, so we have this ratings of 4, we have the ratings of 2 and 2. Okay, so we can already remove these 2 right here, but anyways, we already start working on that. So we can also provide a movie, and I'm gonna also provide I don't know, the ratings of 2 one more time, and I'm gonna just hit enter right here, hit control and R. So we have this movie with the ratings of 2, we have this movie with the rating of 2, we have this movie, the movie with the rating of 2. So what I'm going to do is that first of all, we are going to be searching for all of the movies who have the rating of 2. So I'm going to just write db.movies. not find but delete many, and you can just also write this help, and if you hit enter, so removes all of the documents that matches the filter from the collection. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write db.movies.delete many in this case, and I'm going to just specify the ratings right here. So I'm going to write ratings 2. Okay, so we want to select first of all of the movies who have the rating of 2, and we want to delete them. So now if I hit enter, it's to acknowledge true and deletion count 3. Okay, so let's suppose if I hold control and hit R, and here you can see it will now just gives us this extraction. If you want to remove this extraction as well, so we can just write db.movies.delete1, and I'm going to just provide the movie name, and it will be now set to extraction 2. Hit enter and say bye bye to this one as well. So this is how we are going to be performing our CRUD operation in MongoDB. So the final thing which I want to show is that we can also create a table. So I'm going to just write like const I'm going to just write m1 for movie 1. You don't have to do that, by the way. I'm going to just specify some sort of a movie like name, and I'm going to just write like movie 1, and I guess that would be fine. I'm not going to be providing anything else, and it will be now set to movie 2, and I'm going to also change that to m2, let me just change that to M3, and I'm going to also change that to M3 in this case, and let's just write over M4. This is going to be our M4, and finally we have M5, and I'm going to just provide M5 right here. Okay, so let me just create my document one more time. Show collections, hit enter. So we already have this collection right here, so I'm going to just write like movies, not db.movies.insert many in this case, and I'm going to just provide my M1, M2, M3, M4, and M5. In this case, I'm gonna hit enter right here, hit Control R. So here you can see we have all of these movies. So now the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to just create a table so that we can see all of their data inside our table. So I'm going to just write like const results, and it will be now equals to db.movies. So in this case, we are going to be saving the result of this query inside our variable right here, like our JavaScript variable. So we are going to be using find, so it will give us all of the documents, and we are going to be converting their to array in this case. And I'm gonna hit enter right here, and I'm gonna just write like console.table, and we can just write our result. Was that results or result? I'm gonna just provide result and hit enter. Okay, that was results. And now if I hit enter right here, so here you can see it will now create a table for us. It will give us the index, it will give us the IDs, and it will also give us the name right here. And in some situation, we are going to be also providing ratings, the genre, and all of that kind of stuff related to our data. So it will also format that in this table right here. Anyways, so that was it about MongoDB. Next, we are going to be learning about Mongoose. So now that we learned enough about MongoDB, so now it's time to learn about Mongoose. So like, what in the world is Mongoose, and why you should care about learning Mongoose in the first place? So what in the world is Mongoose? So Mongoose is an object data modeling, or you can also say ODM library for Node.js and MongoDB. So which kind of problems does Mongoose solve? It manages relationship between data, provides schema validation, and it is used to translate between objects in a code and the representation of the object in MongoDB. So finally, I love this sentence, like Mongoose makes it easier to work with MongoDB in Node.js by providing a higher level abstraction layer. So this is what a Mongoose is. Okay, so which kind of problems does it solve? So it simplifies working with MongoDB. That's the first step. Schema definition, you don't have to worry about that, but we will learn that in this course because this is going to be the main point of this course. And validation, it provides validation, and we're going to be also learning about that. And it also provides a support for middlewares and countless other things Mongoose do for us. So that's the only reason why we are going to be learning about Mongoose in the first place. So that was the basic introduction of what a Mongoose is and why you should care about that. So now let's just learn about how we are going to be installing Mongoose in our machines. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a folder, give me a name of like Mongoose. And I'm going to right click on that and open this folder in my Visual Studio Coder. So throughout this course, I'm going to be using a Visual Studio Coder. But if you want to use some other coder, so feel free to use that. But for me, I'm going to be using a Visual Studio Code Editor. So I open my terminal right here. And I'm going to, here you can see this is going to be my path where I'm going to be installing all of my dependencies and stuff. And the first thing I'm going to do is that let me just move that like so, and I'm going to just start working by installing, or not installing, but I'm going to just create my, or not create but initialize my current repository. So I'm going to use npm init-y, and I'm going to just hit enter. So it will just initialize our repository right here, and it will now give us our package.json file. And I'm going to just write type, and I'm going to just set that to modules, because in this course we are going to be using a module. So the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to install express.js. So I'm going to use npm install express.js, and I'm going to also install nodemon. I'm going to also install Mongoose, because in this course we are going to be obviously like installing Mongoose because we are going to be using Mongoose, and something called .env. I'm going to hit enter right here. So it will now install express.js, node.js, Mongoose, and .env inside this current repository right here. So it will take a little bit of time to install all of these dependencies. I'm going to just wait for it, or not wait for it, but I'm going to just fast forward the video. And here you can see all of my dependencies are installed. So I'm going to double click on this package.json file right here. So here you can see we have this dependency right here. Inside these dependencies, we have this .env, something which I'm going to explain in a second. Then we have Express.js, Mongoose, and Node.js. So I'm assuming that you are already aware of this Express.js and Node.js, but you don't know about this Mongoose, and I'm gonna just tell you about this .env right now. But before we do that, first of all, let me just create a script for myself. So I'm gonna write dev right here. If you're not aware of all of these devs, so like please check out my Node.js course or Express.js course. I show you all of that stuff in a really great depth. So I'm going to just use like node-mon in this case, and then index.js. I'm going to be using my index.js. I'm going to save my file, and now the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a file given name of like git ignore. You don't have to worry about this file right now. If you don't know this file, so you don't have to worry about this file right now. You don't even have to create this file if you don't want to push your code into your GitHub repository. So we are going to be just removing this node modules like so. I'm going to just save my file, so it will just remove that node modules right here. Okay, so the next thing which you have to do is that I am going to just create a file. I'm going to give a name of like .env, and here we are going to be storing all of our sensitive information like the database connection URI, the port, and all of that kind of stuff. So this file will be very important, and never push this file into your GitHub repository. So I'm going to just write /.env, and this will allows us, this one line of code will allows us to remove this file or ignore this file once you are pushing this code to your GitHub repository. You don't have to worry about this git ignore if you don't know that. So yeah, that was just it about that. And the next thing which I am going to do is that I'm going to just write port, and it will be now equals to 8000 right here. Okay, so that's that. Now the final thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to write my index.js file right here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to get my express from my express.js, and I'm going to also create an app. It will be now equals to express app right here in this case, and I'm going to just get my port in this case. And if you want to get this specific port right here, which I specify inside this .env file, so what do you have to do? First of all, you are going to be writing process, then .env, then port in uppercase, because here we specify that port in uppercase. If you specify that in lowercase, so you are going to be writing that in lowercase, but in this case I specify it in uppercase because that's a convention. So this is how you are going to be getting that specific port, which is 8000 right here. But in some situation, if that port is not working or that .env is not installed in some machines or something like that, then use this 8000 right here. So we are just providing either use this one or use this port right here. Okay, so you can specify 5000 if you want to. 2000 will also work. So yeah, that's on you, but in my case that's it. The next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write app.listen, and I'm going to just first of all provide my port right here and also my callback function. Okay, in this callback function I'm going to just write like I don't know, I'm going to write server listening on port and specify the port right here. Okay, let me just go back so you guys can see everything a bit better. And that's our initial setup for our Express.js. But now let's talk about how we are going to be connecting our database with this project so that we can work with them by using Mongoose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a separate folder right here. You don't have to do that. Like if you don't want to create a separate folder and separate file, so you can create it inside this file right here if you want to. But in my case, I want to separate everything and I want to follow a convention. So that's why I'm creating a separate folder for my database. And I'm going to just write like connect db.js right here. You can, oh come on, I'm going to have to delete that. Let me just create a file inside there. I'm going to just give a name of like connect db.js right here, and here we are going to be placing our database connection inside this file right here. The first thing which you have to do is that we have to import mongoose from Mongoose, and then I'm going to just create a function, give a name of like, you can give any name you want by the way, but in my case I'm going to just give a name of like connect db, like connection to the database. And this function will be asynchronous because it will allows us to connect to the database. And here I'm going to just provide database and then URL right here. You can provide your database URL manually, but in this case I'm going to just pass that right here. This function will be passed right here inside this index.js file. So that's why I want to provide some sort of a parameter to work with. So I'm going to just write try and catch block because I don't want to write my then and catches. So instead I'm going to be using await and all of that stuff. So I'm going to just catch my error right here in this case. If we have some sort of error, so you want to catch that, and then I'm going to use aware.mongoose, and this mongoose have a method called connect. But before we use this method, first of all we have to go into the Google. And I'm going to just search for mongoose. Okay, so if I just search for mongoose, and so here you can see we have this mongoose official website. I'm going to just click on that, and I'm going to just open that right here, and here you can see the link, which is mongoosejs.com by the time of this recording. So you can learn more about that if you wanted to, and in this case they are providing the old URL, but I'm going to just click on read the docs, or you know what, not read the docs, quick start guide. There we go. I'm going to just click on that, and here you can see they are also suggesting to use this connect function, or connect method to be precise, and this method allows us to connect to a specific database. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just copy that. Right click on them and copy there, and I'm going to just place this link right here, or this URL to be precise right here, and I'm going to just change that. You know what, this is going to be our database. We are not going to be providing any sort of database right here in this case, but I guess that would be fine in this case. And I'm not sure about why we are getting this error. Okay, that's because we are not using this arrow function right here. There we go. Now that's better. Okay, so first of all we are going to be writing our MongoDB and taking from this place to this area. This is just simply means like a local host and specific port right here. Okay, or you know, we are not going to be passing this URL right here. I can provide that right here, but I don't want it to, so I'm going to just cut that from here, and I'm going to just pass my database URL right here, and then I'm going to just write a message for myself like database connected and ... like so. I'm going to just save my file, and finally I have to export this function so that other files can use it. So I'm going to use export default and then connect db like so. I'm going to save this file, and now I will be able to use this function inside my index.js file right here. And here what I'm going to do is that if I just write connect db right here, and if I hit enter, and here you can see it will just import it right here, but they do not provide .js extension. I have to provide this .js extension manually. Anyway, so I'm going to just close that right here, and that's it about how we are going to be connecting our port, or how we are going to be getting our port. So now let's get our database connection as well. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go into my .env file, and I'm going to just write database and then URL, and it will be now equals to this string right here. Okay, and in this case I'm going to provide a / and I'm going to just give my database name of movies. You can provide uppercase, but I'm going to just provide in a lowercase. I'm going to just save this file right here, so it will create this collection for us. I'm going to cut this file, and now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write const database URL, and it will be now equals to, we can either use the process.env database URL right here. If I click on that, we can either use this URL from this .env file, which we are not going to be pushing to our GitHub repository, or let me just copy that from here, or we can use this one. So if I just copy that and let me just place it right here, so either use this one or use this one, so the error chances will be more than lower in this case. So now we are just creating this movies database right here in there, and now I'm going to just copy that, and I'm going to just place it right here, and I'm going to just save my file, and that's it about the setup of this connection. Okay, so now I'm going to open my terminal, and I'm going to just use npm run dev right here in this case, and finger crossed it will now give us the MongoDB connected, and there we go, our MongoDB is now successfully connected to our Express app right here. So this is how we are going to be connecting everything. So the first thing which we did is that we install our dependencies like Express.js, Normon, Mongoose, and .env. Then we just write our basic Express setup, like we create a setup and all of that stuff. And then here we are just importing our connectdb from this we are just getting that function from this connectdb, which allows us to connect to our MongoDB by using mongoose.connect method. So we are just providing this MongoDB URL right here, so that MongoDB URL will pass from this area, like from this variable to this function, and this function will take it from here and it will provide it right here. And then finally we are going to be getting the inside our connection right here. So it will just connect to our MongoDB. So that's how we can connect to MongoDB by using all of their dependencies which we just installed. So that was it about how we can connect to the database. So now let's learn about the most important topic of this video, which will be schemas in Mongoose. So what in the world is a schema in Mongoose? So Mongoose schema is a blueprint that defines the structure of the document in MongoDB database collection. Okay, and it defines the fields, something which we are going to be covering in a second, and their data types. We are going to be also providing a specific data type to each field, and any additional options such as default values, validation rules, and indexes. Okay, so how in the world we are going to be creating this schema in Mongoose? This is how we are going to be creating a basic schema in Mongoose. First of all, we are going to be importing our Mongoose from Mongoose. Then we are going to be using const schema. You can give any name you want to this variable, it doesn't matter. Then we are going to be using the new result keyword. Then we are going to be using the mongoose.schema in uppercase S, and here we are going to be providing our object, and inside this object we are going to be providing our key and specific type to that key. Like if this is a name and we want to store a string inside there, so we are going to be providing string right here, and this is the shorthand or the shorter way of writing your key and value, like key and type, and this is a bit longer way and the recommended way to write your Mongoose schemas right here. So we are going to be writing like some sort of a key, and then we are going to be writing curly braces, and inside these curly braces we are going to be providing the types and a specific property to that type. So now let's just talk about these types in a little bit. So like which kind of types can we provide to our data? So just like in JavaScript, we can provide strings, we can provide numbers, we can provide booleans, we can provide this one is new, this is in JavaScript, like mongoose.decimal 1 to end. It will allows us to provide a decimal values, and we can even provide a basic validation function even right here. We can provide arrays, we can provide booleans, we can provide dates even if you wanted to, and we can provide a default values as well. So this is how the Mongoose schema will look like. So first of all, let me just create this schema, and then I'm going to just explain to you every single thing in that schema in a very great depth. Alright, so let me just start from creating a models folder right here, and we are going to be storing all of our schemas in this models folder. I'm going to create a file. I'm going to just give a name of like movies. M will be in uppercase. You can like provide in lowercase if you want to, but a lot of people use uppercase once they're creating a schema, so that's why I use uppercase. Anyways, so now the first thing which you have to do is that we have to import Mongoose from Mongoose, and now let's define our schema in Mongoose. So this is going to be the structure or the blueprint for our database collection. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use new Mongoose like so, and then I'm going to just use uppercase S, and here you can see we are now getting the schema. So we are going to be executing this method, but we have to provide these curly braces right here. So now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to store that in some sort of a variable so that we would be able to work with that later. So we are going to be using const and movie schema. You can give any name you want, but in this case we are creating this schema specifically for movies, so that's why I give a name of like movie schema right in here. So now I'm going to just write name right here. Let's suppose we are going to be modeling this data by first of all requiring the name from the user or the name of the movie. So the name of the movie will be, let me just provide a type. So what do you think will be the name? So it's going to be the number, or is it going to be like some sort of a boolean, or is it going to be a string? So I will assume their name will be a string. Obviously it will be a string, and then I'm going to just provide a required right here and true. Like this property, if you just provide required, you have to provide that property. So if you didn't provide that, it will give you a nasty error. So like in this case we provide this required right here, so this name will be required. You have to specify some sort of a value for this name, so that's why we set this required to true. Okay, so that's that. So now the next thing which we have to do is that we can also trim out the empty spaces, and I'm assuming that you already know this trim function. If you don't, so this is just in JavaScript we use this trim function to remove the empty spaces from our strings. So I'm going to provide my comma right here. So this is going to be the first property, and this is going to be the first values for their properties. Anyways, so now let's just provide a ratings. I'm going to write like a ratings like so, and now here I'm going to just write a type for that. And by the way, we can also write a shorthand for that if you just remove that. Let me just remove that, and we can just write a number or something like that, but then we won't be able to provide the other stuff right here. Okay, so now let me just use type, and in this case we are going to be providing a number right here, and it will be also required because in this case we also want our user to require some sort of a rating for our schema, and then we are going to be also providing the minimum length and minimum length. I'm gonna just provide like 1 or something like that, and we can also provide the maximum length, and the maximum length will be 5. So you cannot provide ratings below 1 and above 5. Okay, so anyway, so this is going to be our second field. So now the next thing which you have to provide is for money. Okay, so how much money this movie made. I'm gonna just provide like arbitrary values. In this case I'm gonna use mongoose dot decimal DECIMAL12 okay, so it will allows us to provide a decimal values right here, and it will now just take like a required, and this one will be also set to true. We can also provide our validation right here, so we can just create a function like validate, and here we can just provide some sort of a value. If the value is greater than 10, then validate the user. Anyways, I'm going to just provide a comma in here. So that's our third field. We can also provide a type for genre, and this genre will be, or genre, how do you want to pronounce this name, will be set to array. Okay, finally we have to provide this comma, not finally, but is active. This won't do anything, but we will provide a type for there, like it will be set to boolean, just for demonstration purposes. So we can just provide a comments, and comments will be array of objects. So I'm going to just provide value in this case, and I'm going to provide some sort of a type for their value, like I don't know, type will be now set to string, and then outside from there I guess I messed up something right here. I'm not sure about that, but you know, let me just remove that. First of all, we have to wrap that inside of brackets. Now inside these brackets we want to get a value, and then our value will be set to, or value type will be set to string in this case. I'm going to provide a comma in here, and I'm going to just write publish right like so, and I'm going to also provide a specific type for that, like date. If the user provided date, so that's cool. If the user did not provide the date, so we are going to be getting that date by default. Okay, so that's why we use this default property right here. Okay, so now if you save our file, and this is how currently our schema looks like right here. So that's how we are going to be creating a schema. So like this is just the basic blueprint for our object. It doesn't do anything. So next thing which we have to do is that we have to create a model for this blueprint. So how can we go about doing that? So what in the world is a model? So a model is a constructor function that represents a collection in MongoDB and defines the schema for each the document. Okay, so how can we create a model? This is how we are going to be creating a model. So first of all, we are going to be grabbing our mongoose. We are going to be defining some sort of a schema right here, which we already did. And now if you want to create a model for that schema, so first of all we are going to be writing mongoose, then dot model. In this case we are going to be providing the user collection right here, and finally we are going to be providing how our user collection will look like. So here we are going to be providing our schema name, and we are now storing that inside our user variable right here. And by the way, let me just give one more note about that. If you just write a user, like u will be in uppercase, so it will convert it to lowercase u, and it will also provide s at the end. If you provide like user, movie, apple, or anything like that, it will convert it to lowercase, and it will provide s at the end. So I want you to just keep that in mind. So how all of the code will look like? This is how all of the code will look like. First of all, we are going to be defining our schema, then we are going to be creating a model for that schema, and then we are going to be providing some sort of a value to that schema, I mean like that model, and then finally we are going to be saving that data to our database, and then we will be able to see all of that data. I know that sounds confusing, but I promise this is not confusing thing to work with. So this is how we are going to be creating our blueprint or schema for our data. So now let's just create our model. So let me just write creating model right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just use mongoose and then dot model right here in this case, and I'm going to just provide movie in this case. So it will just convert that to code like this. You know, let me just give a space. It will convert this code to like this. So movie s, it will convert our collection name to movies like so. I'm going to remove that. And by the way, this is going to be our collection name. If you are wondering like why we are going to be providing that, let me just provide a comma. And here we have to specify the schema, like how in the world we are going to be providing our data, like how our data should look like. So we already structured that right here. Like we already provide a blueprint for our data. I'm going to copy that from here, and I'm going to just place it right here. Okay, so now let me just store that in some sort of a variable, and I'm going to just store that in movie model. In this case, you can give any name you want, but in my case, that would be it. So finally, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, I'm going to just export default our movie model right here. I'm going to save that, and let me just import that in index.js file right here, and I'm going to import it right here. So I'm going to use import movie model, hit enter, and it will now just grab it from there. And now if I hit save, so it will just I'm going to go into my MongoDB compass. I'm going to open something, or I'm going to just click on this one right here and hit Control D. I'm going to even delete this database from here. So I'm going to just write test, hit enter, so it will just drop their database right here. And what you are seeing is this new database is now introduced right here. And if I double click on that, and if I click on these movies right here, so we don't have no data, nothing inside there. But this amount of code, let me just show you that. But this amount of code will allows us to create our database, and it will also allows us to create a collection inside our database. And now we are going to be learning about how we are going to be providing a data, how we are going to be reading a data, how we are going to be deleting the data, and how in the world we are going to be updating our data from our database using Mongoose. So let's start our conversation on how we are going to be creating our document and how we are going to be pushing that document into our database. So what I'm going to do is that here I'm going to just write a function. I'm going to give a name of like create doc for creating a document, and it will be an asynchronous function because here we are dealing with our databases. So that's why we have to use this asynchronous function. And I'm going to just log this error to the console if we have any error. So first of all, let's learn about creating a new document. So if you want to create a new document, first of all, we are going to be using the new result keyword and then the movie model name, which is there. So I'm going to just change that to uppercase right here. And like the lowercase will work, but I'm going to just change that to uppercase. I'm going to just use new and then the model name in this case. And I'm going to just provide my curly braces right here. Okay, so this is going to be the syntax of creating our document. And I'm going to just specify all of the requirements this schema has. So we have to specify this name, rating, money, genre, is active, and comments. So let me just write code for that. I'm going to first of all start from my name, and name will be extraction2 in this case. And I'm going to just provide a comma in here, and then I'm going to just provide a ratings in this case, and I'm going to just set that to 4. And I'm going to provide a money, like I don't know, money would be like $600 or $6,000 or something like that. And let's just specify our genre. Okay, and our genre will be now set to like action and also adventure. So there was an action movie and adventure movie, so I'm going to just write is active in this case, and I'm going to just set that to true right here. And finally, let me just specify these comments right here. It will be in array, and inside this array we have objects of array. And by the way, this will also create a nested document inside this comment field right here. You will see that in a second, but first of all, let me just write a code for that. And I'm going to just use like that was an amazing movie or something like that. So this is how we are going to be creating our document by using Mongoose. So now let me just store that in some sort of a variable. So I'm going to just write like const m1, and it will be now equals to some sort of movie right here, which we've created right here. So now this is how we are going to be creating our movie, but now we have to save this movie into our database right here. So currently, if I just refresh my database, so here you can see we are not able to see anything right here. So now we have to push this movie into our specific database. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write const result, and it will be now equals to await in this case, and I'm going to use my m1.save method right here. So if we call this method, so it allows us to store this data into our database. So what I'll do is that I'm going to just write const.log and result. First of all, you know what, I'm going to stop my server right here, and I'm going to use npm run dev one more time so that we can see the result of that coding. right here. So it will now give us like database connected right here. If we save this file, and it will not do anything. Why? Because okay, it will even crash. It will even crash because here we change that to movie model right here, but in this case we are not interested in that. I'm going to copy this function name and I'm going to remove their stuff from here, and I'm going to just place it right here. So we have to first of all export this function which we've been creating right here. So we are creating a document inside this function, we are storing that inside our database. That's not the case, so we are logging the error to the console. So now we are pushing this code from this file and we are telling all of the files so that you can use this function. So now in this case I'm going to remove this movie model from here, and I'm going to provide my curly braces and create doc function right here. So we are now getting this function, that create doc function. Let me just get in there. We are now creating, we are now importing this create doc function from this movies right here, and we are just creating our database. We are creating our document and we are saving that into our database. So now I am going to copy that, but before I do, I'm going to have to use console.clear to clear out my screen, just like that. And now I am going to remove that stuff from here, and I am going to place this function right here, and I'm going to just execute that. Okay, so I'm going to just execute this function. I am going to save my file, and it will now take a little bit of time. It will now give us this movie with all of the values which we specified right here. So I want you to notice, like, this is going to be the default time which I specified in the default. It is also giving us this new object ID right here. So this will be a unique ID. So now let me just check out my database right here, and I'm going to just hold Control and hit R, and we are now successfully getting our data right here. So congratulations, this is how we are going to be creating our document. Creating our document like so, and this is how we are going to be pushing that or saving that into our database like so. So here you can see we are now getting the name, the ratings, the money, the genre is active, the comments and everything. So yeah, that's them. So now next we are going to be learning about how we are going to be inserting many documents into our database. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to comment these two lines out, and I'm going to change the function name to insert many docs in this case. So that was it about how we are going to be sending one document. In this case we are going to be inserting more than one, so I just changed the name to like insert many docs. I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to change this one to insert many docs, and I'm going to also provide it right here. And throughout the course I'm going to be following that same pattern. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just duplicate this movie a lot of times, so then we would be able to provide more than one movie. So I'm going to just duplicate the like I don't know, 4 times. So this is going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 movies right here. I'm going to just change that to 2, and I'm going to just change the movie name to something like John Wick chapter 4. I'm going to change the ratings to 5, and this movie earned like, I don't know, to 23,000 or something like that. And I'm going to also change the genre from adventure to just action, and is active will be set to true right here in this case. And I'm going to just provide a little bit of comment like, I don't know, John doesn't seem that angry anymore, sad face. Okay, so you know what, I'm going to just specify different kind of movies names and ratings and all of that kind of stuff, and I'm gonna just come back to you in a second. So I'm gonna just fast forward this video. Alright, so I just provide a little bit of movies like Mission Impossible. The ratings will be 4, action, spy, crime, film and thriller, and a little bit of title, Transformers movie and Expendables 4 right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna uncomment that. And in this case what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be using await but not M1, because we are not just sending or not saving one data to our database. In this case we are going to be sending a lot of data or a lot of movies into our database. So for that we are going to be using the movie model which we are creating right in here. So we are now creating this movie model right here. So we are going to be first of all specifying that, but instead of that save we are going to be using insert many in this case. And here we can use our array right here, and we can now provide arrays of data like M1, M2, M3, M4, M5 right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to grab my terminal from here to there. I'm going to close that and use npm run dev one more time. Okay, so it will now run our terminal right here. But now let me just go back. If I save my file, it will now save all of their data, or it will insert all of their data into my database right here. So I'm going to just save my file. It will take a little bit of time, and here you can see we are now getting all of their data right here inside our terminal. Okay, so now I'm going to just hold Control and hit R, and here you can see we are now providing extraction, John Wick, Mission Impossible, Transformers, the expandable 4 right here. So everything is working the way we expect him to work, and this is how we are going to be inserting many data into our document right here, or into our database to be precise. Alright, so that was it about how we are going to be creating our data and how we are going to be inserting all of their data into our database. So what I'm going to do is that we already successfully sent the data into our database. I'm going to just change these to all docs right here, and in this section we are going to be learning about how we are going to be retrieving our data from our database. So I'm going to just copy that, and I'm going to just change that to all docs, and I'm going to comment this line out, and I'm going to just provide this all docs right here. So I'm going to save this file as well, and we are not going to provide that. Instead we are going to be using await like so, and then the movie model right here, and then find, and this find method will give us all the data or all the documents which we currently have. Okay, so you know what, first of all I'm going to just use npm run dev one more time. I'm going to save my file right here, and it will take a little bit of time, and it will now give us all of the documents right here. So it will give us extraction and all of their movies right here. So we have extraction 2. What in the world is going on? I'm going to just remove one extraction 2 from here because that was just a previous one, and I'm going to just remove that from here. So we have these data right here. Anyways, so this is how we are going to be getting all of the documents by using this method right here, which will be a find method. So that was it about how we are going to be getting that all of their data. So in some situation you would want to get a specific thing from their document. So how can you go about doing that? Well, so for that we are going to be iterating over through all of the documents. So iterating over the documents. So first of all we are going to be iterating over through our documents by either using a for loop, the for of loop, or for in loop. But in this case I'm going to be using a result.for each loop right here, and I'm going to just specify my item right here, or movie rather. Instead of item I'm going to just write movie, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to log to the console just a specific like movie dot name. In this case I comment this line out. I'm going to use console.clear in this case to clear out everything before it is giving us any kind of message. It will comment that out, and here you can see we are now getting extraction 2 and all of their movies name right here inside our console. So this is how we are going to be getting the name. We can also get specific ratings for that movie. So I'm going to just save this file, and here you can see it is now giving us all of these ratings right here. If you want to get like I don't know, the money, so if you just save that, and it will give us all of the money in this format right here. We can change that to string or anything like that. Anyway, so this is how you are going to be getting all the documents, and this is how you are going to be getting a single value from that document. So that's why we create this all docs function right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove that stuff from here, and I'm going to also remove that from here. And the next thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to change this method name, or you know, I'm not going to changing any name, or should I? Yeah, I will change that because later you will just watch this video, you will follow along with this video, but you will forget everything. So I'm going to just change that to single doc. So this was how we are going to be selecting all the documents, and in this one we are going to be just selecting a single doc right here. So I'm going to just provide a single doc here, the single doc in here, and I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to also save this file. But before I save, I'm going to have to write my console.log. Come on, console.log right here, and I'm going to just pass my result right here, and instead of this find, I'm going to change that to find by ID. So find by ID. Let's suppose if we just want to get this Mission Impossible, so I'm going to just double click on that, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to just provide that as a string right here. Okay, so if we save our file, and okay, single docs is not defined, and it will now give us that Mission Impossible. It will give us the genre, it will even give us these comments right here. And notice I already told you that it will create a nested document for us. So here you can see it will now provide this unique ID to it. So yeah, That's how we can provide a nested documents if you want to. And it will now just gives us the specific movie. So let's suppose if we just want to get like, I don't know, Transformers Rise of the Beast. So I'm going to copy there and I'm going to just provide this ID right here. So I'm going to just save this file and it will now give us Transformers Rise of the Beast right here. Okay, so that's also working. So what I'm going to do is that in this case it will give us that specific movie, but I want you to notice this area right here. It will give us curly braces right here, which means if we try to access a specific thing, we don't have to like no longer iterate over through our data. So what we can do is that we can just write const.log result dot, I don't know, the name or something like that. I'm going to just save my file and it will now give us the name of that specific document. If we duplicate that and if you want to get the ratings NGS save our file, it will just gives us the ratings right here and the name, because we are just logging both of them to the console. And if you want to get like I don't know, the comments, so comments, I'm gonna save that and it will even also gives us the comments right here. Okay, so this is how we are going to be getting a single document by providing the ID to it. And this is how we are going to be specifying all of that stuff right in here. So now let's learn about how we are going to be retrieving a single document with a specific field. So you can also provide a specific field right here. So I'm going to just provide a comma in here and then I'm going to just provide a name right here. Okay, so let's just log that name to the console. So console.log and result right here. Okay, so if we just save our file, now I'm going to just check it out and here you can see it will now just gives us the name right here. You can provide the ratings, you can provide anything right in here. It will give you a single document with that specific thing which you're going to be providing right here. Okay, in some situation we won't even have access to this ID, so we can search for the field. So I'm going to just provide a find one more time and I'm going to save that right here. I'm going to just change the name of this function to be like doc with field and I'm going to just copy that from here. I'm going to save my file and I'm going to just put it right in here. Okay, so that will work. The next thing which I want to do is that I'm going to just specify my field name right here. So I'm going to just write extraction 2. So like let's suppose if we just want to get this extraction 2 movie from our database. So first of all we are going to be writing our movie model, then find method, and then here in curly braces we are going to be writing our movie name and we are going to be just writing the movie name. So I'm going to just save that and it will now give us this extraction 2 right here and it will give us all of the information based on that movie. So this is how we are going to be getting all of our data. Or you know, let's suppose if you just want to get like Expendables 4 or Jonathan Wick chapter 4, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to just place it right here, save my file, and instead of an extraction it will now give us John Wick chapter 4 right here. Okay, so everything is working the way we expect him to work. So that was it about how we are going to be getting our data, but we can also do that limits, that skip, that sorting, and all of that stuff which we just learned inside of MongoDB. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove that stuff from here. I'm going to just remove that. It will give us all the documents, but if we just want to limit that document, so we can change that limit right here. And let's suppose if you want to just provide a 3 right here. Okay, so this is how we are going to be providing a limit. So now if we save our file and now we check it out and it is giving us a lot of result, but let me just write npm run dev and it will now limit or search right here. Okay, so we are now getting all of that results right here. Anyway, so that was it about limits. The next thing which I want to talk to you about is a skip. So I'm going to just remove that and let's suppose if you just want to skip like 2 documents in this case. So I'm going to just save this file and I'm gonna have to wait for it to render, or you know why it's not giving us this. I'm gonna have to close that and npm run dev one more time. So it will now give us all the documents, but it will just skip the first 2 right here. Okay, so why are we getting all of their documents right here? Is there something wrong or something? I'm gonna close that, terminate that, and let's just reopen it again in here, and I'm gonna use npm run dev right here. I'm gonna hit enter. It will run my code and it should have to give us these documents right here. So it will give us 1, 2, and 3, and it will skip that first 2 right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here you can also see we have 5 documents, but here we are just getting 1, 2, 3, and it will just ignore that first 2 right here. So if you just want to get like I don't know, one document. So let's just save that. And here you can see it will just gives us one document. It will now skip the rest of them. So this is how we can do skipping, and this is how we can do limiting. But we can also get the count, so like how many documents which we currently have. So I'm going to just write count document, and I'm going to just execute this function right here. I'm going to save my file, and here you can see it will now give us 5 documents right here, and we can also see that 5 documents right in here. So that's them. This is how we are going to be doing all of that stuff. So the next thing which I want to do is that we can also sort our stuff. So I'm going to just remove that. And let's suppose, first of all, we have to sort it by the name. Okay, so if you want to sort it by ascending order, so we are going to be writing -1. So let's just save our file. So here you can see, first of all, it will give us MNOPQURST and T here. I guess there is something wrong, so I am going to just have to close that right here, and I'm gonna just close that from here, terminal there, and I'm gonna open that one more time. I don't know what's going on with this terminal, and I'm going to use this npm run dev one more time, so it will just sort all of that content by ascending order. Okay, so first of all, we are getting the T one more time, so we are getting T one more time, 2 times, and A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. So here you can see it will now sort our data into descending order. So it will now first of all gives us the T's, then it will gives us the M, then it will gives us the J, N, E right here, like extraction. So if you want to like provide a 1, just like 1, so if you just save our file, and let's just wait for it to refresh, and let's just close all of that data. Or even I am going to just exit that terminal from here, and I'm going to open my new terminal, and I am going to just put it right here, use npm run dev one more time, and it will now give us all of their data in ascending order in this case. So it will now give us E, J, M, T, T one more time. So this is how we can do sorting in Mongoose. And yeah, that's it. But finally, let me just show you a little bit of comparison operator and logical operator, and that's going to be it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove that. So like, let's suppose if we just want to talk about the money, so here in this case we are going to be writing our curly braces right here inside this money, and we are going to be writing our GT, and you already know what a GT is, and GT is greater than, and I'm going to just specify like, I don't know, 6 and I don't know, 4 zeros or something like that. So here you can see it will now gives us all of their movies who earn greater than this amount right here. So let's suppose if you just want to get the less than, so I'm going to just change that to LT. I am going to save that, and here you can see it will now just gives us that John Wick who earned this amount of money right here. So let's suppose in some situation you would also want to get like NE not included, like I don't know, not included that amount. Or let's suppose if you just want to get this amount of money, I'm going to just provide that right here, not included this money. So if we save our file, and it will give us every movie except their Transformer Rise of the Beast right here. So here you can see it will give us all of their movies except their Transformer Rise of the Beast. So this NE just simply stands from not included. So that was it about a logical operator. I mean, like, that was it about comparison operator, but we can also provide a logical operators as well if you wanted to. So I'm going to just remove these movies from here, and instead what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just provide $sign and N right here, and it will be now equals to the money. Okay, so if the money is like 6, oh, come on, $sign, I meant like so. And if the money is $600, or you know what, if the money is that amount, I'm gonna copy that and I'm gonna just place it right here. If the money is that amount, and the rating ratings is how many ratings it got, 4, so it just gives us that movie. So I'm gonna just save this file, and it will now give us their transformer right here. Why it's giving us this transformer movie? That's because here the rating is 4 right here, and it earned that amount of money right here, so which we are specifying right here. So in this case we are just specifying this AND operator right here, so which means like both of these should be true. If one of them is false, so it will not give us anything. But now let me just change that to OR operator, so it will just search for either this movie, I mean, like, it will just either search for this money or rating. So if you just save that, and it will now give us all of their movies who earn or whose rating is 4. I'm going to use npm run dev one more time, so it will now give us all of their movies right here. So this one have a rating of 4, this one have a rating of 4, this one have a rating of 4, and all of them have the rating of 4, but this one or you know what, but this one, this John Wick, don't have any ratings of 4. It will not give us that John Wick right here. Anyway, so that's a basic logical operators and a comparison operator in Mongoose, and this is how we are going to be retrieving our data from our database by using the find method. And we learned a lot of stuff about the find method, like the sorting, the count, the skip, the limit, and all of that kind of stuff. Alright, so that was it about how we are going to be finding stuff. So now let's talk about how in the world we are going to be updating our stuff. So the first thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to change this function name to update by ID right here. In this case, I'm going to copy that, save this file, and I'm going to go into there, but I'm going to close this terminal from here. I'm going to pass it right here and pass it right here, remove this one, save my file. Now in this case we are going to be updating our stuff, so this is how the syntax will look like right here. So we have update one method which I already show you in MongoDB. It will take a filter and it will also take what to change question mark. So first of all we are going to be filtering, like we are going to be getting that item, and then we are going to be changing, like how to change that item. So this is how the syntax will look like. So I'm going to just remove that comment from here, and I'm going to just write update one in this case. We also have update many, which I'm going to show you in a second, but now let's talk about this update one. First of all, we have to get that specific thing we want to change. So in this case I'm going to just provide ID right here, and my ID will be now set to, or you know what, I can do one other thing. I'm going to just provide my ID right here, and I'm going to provide my ID in here as well in this case. And then outside from this curly braces, I'm going to provide like how or what to change in that specific document. So in this case I want to change like the, I don't know, the name of a specific movie. So in this case, let's suppose we have this extraction. I want to change this extraction from extraction 2 to Hussein Web Dev or something like that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just provide a new title to the movie. So I'm going to just write Hussein Web Dev. So which kind of movie we want to update? We want to update this extraction 2. So I'm going to just copy that, and here I'm going to save this file. It will do nothing in this case because it is requiring the ID right here. So I'm going to just pass this ID right here as a string. I can pass it manually right here if I wanted to, but in this case I want to show you this pattern as well. So later you will see a code like that, and then you will understand like how all of that kind of stuff works. I'm going to save this file, and now I want you to watch this extraction too. I'm going to hold Control and hit R, and it will not, it didn't change that. Oh, that's because we didn't run our server. So I'm going to just write npm run dev and hit enter, and let's just wait for it. And here you can see it will now give us acknowledge to true. And now finally let me just hold Control and hit R, and here you can see that Hussein Web Dev is now changed. I mean, like that movie name is now changed to Hussein Web Dev. We can also change the ratings if you wanted to. So let's suppose if you just want to change the ratings, so I'm going to just write ratings in this case, and I want to change that to like 5-star in this case. So here the rating is now set to 4, and here now if I save this file and if I hold Control and hit R, and here you can see that it's now changed to 5 right here. Okay, so this is how we are going to be first of all selecting the thing, and this is how we are going to be updating that specific thing which we've already selected. So it will just allows us to update one thing, but we can also update many. So I'm going to just use like update many things or something like that. I am going to copy that, and I'm going to just place it right here. I'm going to save this file, save my file as well. In this case I am going to just remove that from here, and I'm going to also remove this ID from here, and I'm going to also remove that first step right here. So I'm going to just provide this comma right here. I'm going to just provide this empty object right here, and inside this empty object what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just select all of the movies who have the ratings of 5 right here. So we have 1 movie, we have 2 movies, and or you know what, Yeah, let's suppose if you just wanted to just update these two movies right here at once. So first of all, we are going to be selecting that. So in this case, I'm going to just provide like ratings, and it will be now set to 5, and we want to change the title of that to like I'm going to just write a name in this case, not in quotes, but just name like so. And we want to change their titles to like name updated or something like that, or 5-star movies. I'm going to save this file, and now here I want you to notice this movie, and I want you to notice this movie. So this one will be John Wick chapter 4, and this one will be Hussein Web Dev. So I'm gonna just hold Control and hit R, and here you can see it will now change to 5-star movies. And why this one is not changed? Because here we are using update 1, we have to change that to update many. Now if we save our file, now if I hold Control and hit R, and here you can see this movie name is changed, which is changed to 5-star movie, and this one is also changed to 5-star movie right here. So this is how we are going to be working with update 1 and update many. So now let's talk about the final topic of this video, which will be deletion. So we already learned about the CRUD operation, like creating, updating, delete, not deleting, but we are now currently learning about deleting. So how can we delete that? Well, the syntax will be exactly the same like update many or update 1, but in this case we are going to be writing like find by ID and delete. So I'm going to just use like either remove or delete. So I'm going to just use this delete right here. So first of all, we have to specify some sort of ID to that. So in this case, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just specify the ID of this movie right here. I'm going to copy that, and here you can see the price is like that amount. I'm going to just place that ID right in here. So now if I save my file, and now I want you to just notice this movie right here. So this movie will be gone from my database. I'm going to hold Control and hit R, and here you can see that movie is gone, and we have this 5-star movie, but the price is that amount right here. So let's suppose if you also want to delete this movie as well. So I'm going to just click on that, copy their ID right here. Or you know what, that was just a find by ID and delete one. So we can also write the delete one right here, and here we can specify whichever kind of filter we want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just save that. We can delete a movie by specifying the ID, by specifying the name, I don't know, whatever you want to specify, like the ratings or anything like that. So now in this case we have a little bit more flexibility right here. So now what I'm going to do is that if I want to delete this movie, I'm going to delete this movie by their title. So I am going to just select their title, I'm going to copy that, and in this case I'm going to just specify the name right here, and the name will be 5-star movie. So I'm going to just save this file, and now if I hold Control and hit R, and here you can see that movie is totally gone. That was it about how we can delete one and how we can find one by ID and delete that. So now let's talk about the delete many right here. And in this case, in this delete many, the syntax will be exactly the same, but here we are going to be changing our filters to like I don't know, ratings right here. And ratings, this one have the rating of 4, this one have the rating of 4, and this final one also have the rating of 4. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just select that, and I'm going to just specify 4 right here. If I save my file and watch what happens if I hold Control and hit R, boom, our database is totally clear. And this is how we are going to be deleting everything from our database. So that was it about this course. So maybe if there is something missing, I'm going to provide that inside this playlist, and this playlist name is MERN stack. Come on, MERN stack. So that was the M in the MERN stack. So we already learned about Node.js, we already learned about Express.js, we already learned about React.js, but in this case we were learning about what do we call it, MongoDB. So yeah, that was the final part of this series. Or maybe if you decide to learn all of the other stuff and you want to learn React.js now, so this is going to be the better time for you to learn React.js. Okay, so I'm going to just close there. And if you like this video and you are now happy that you learned something, and if you want to make me happy, so you can click on that subscribe button, and you can leave a positive review on this course. And if there is something you want me to do, like provide a project based on that, like a MERN stack project or React specific project, or I don't know, like a mean stack project or Maveen stack project, which is like MEVN, Maveen, or whichever kind of name you want to call it. so I can also do that. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.